Salute, salute, peace and power, peace and power. I thank the universal truth and the absolute laws of nature for guiding me, protecting me, and giving me the strength to endure the imperfect. I shall attack with vigor, making progressive moves. A divine mind knows, a divine mind shows. All things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. Peace and power on this late Friday, December night. Yes, I told y'all, pardon the lateness of these classes. They have to be given late because we have a lot to do. A lot to do. However, I thank the universal truth and the absolute laws of nature for guiding me, protecting me, and giving me the strength to endure the imperfect. I shall attack with vigor, making progressive moves. A divine mind knows, a divine mind shows. All things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. Let me get this right. As you come on in, please know that you are in a safe space. Please know that you are loved. Please know that this is a space of learning and getting learned up. Know that this is a space of educating and being educated. Know that this is a space for questions, answers, comments, concerns, dialogue, building, constructive criticism, analyzing. This is your space. This is us uniting, all looking, excuse me, for a path to true liberation. As my classroom assistants come on in, please make sure all contact information is in the chat for the duration of class. Please make sure all funding links are in the chat for the duration of class. If you or anybody you know is in need of anger management, please book your assessment. Please book your assessment. Please book your assessment. Learn how to manage your anger so you can respond in a positive manner. If you or anyone you know is in need of domestic violence, intervention, consultation, please book an assessment. Learn the warning signs. Learn what you need to be alerted to, especially if you're in a space where an abuser could be a batterer. Learn techniques and skills that will help you survive and thrive on your way out of that very unhealthy situation. Remember, the life you save could be your own. Somebody, anybody, somebody, please tag the closest, dearest white woman you know. Please, someone, anybody, tag a Karen, tag several Karens, tag some white women. We need to know what the hell is going on with y'all. No, seriously, somebody tag white women. Because they done turned all the way full. Yeah, they need a talking to. So bring their ass to class. But before we bring these white women to class, who's in class? Because class is kind of light for a Friday night. We see Tiara is up, one eye open, one eye shut. Strictly game the brand. A Wood, yo, A Wood be in effect. Michael Freeman, What's going on? Yes, the black man is God. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. See, Blaze, what's going on? I see you. Juicy Christ. Juicy Christ. 55. You getting a 55 for sure. You could drip town in the building all you want. 55. Juice Christ. Man, what is really going on? Rick Gatlin, salute. Elusive Views, what's good? Bernadette, Bernie, what up? Jamal Rogers, what's good? Big Colorado, 55. Yeah, you getting the 55, homie, no doubt. Raj Will, 55. Ooh, y'all starting already. Maxwell Trucking LLC, what's good with you? Mike, Seffies. 55, Michael. Yeah, you got to take a 55 with you. Mark Lewis, always present. What's going on? Mark Milliner, always in the spotty spot. What? Come on, Pra. Come on. You borderline, most. I'm telling you. Jules, salute. What's going on? What's going on? Joel Torres, East New York. Kyle Malone finally got back to class, but you know what, Kyle? You gonna take a 55. 55. Grieger Bailey, the yard is in the building. What's going on? What's going on? Salute to Grieger Bailey. I know y'all don't have this problem down in Kingston, down in Portland, down in St. Anne. I know y'all don't have the problem with the Karens over there. Because this is getting out of hand. Well, it's been out of hand. But they've been, man, listen, they've been upping their numbers. They must got the green light. Because they are definitely overstepping and endangering the welfare of teens. Now, we all recall, remember the first major case that was on the news when the little Ofe teacher was involved with the young preteen, wouldn't stay away from him, locked her ass up. She went to jail, came home, dug him out again. He had a baby, got married. Remember all that? That was big. That was big. But since then, it has been an epidemic. Let's just keep it 1,000. It's been an epidemic. Mount Vernon's in the building. Marshy, 55 though, Marshy. You just got in the night, but you've been home many a nights and you done skipped class. 55 for Mount Vernon. Money earning, just earning 55. Brandon, salute. Jean-Pierre, what's up? Salute, Unc. Been watching your channel for a minute. Appreciate these dialogues and what you do for the people and the culture, peace and power. Salute for the super chat. Thank you. Yes, Rick Gatlin. Mary Kay. Mary Kay was a beast with it. Beast with it. Wouldn't stop. Nor would the youngin'. And they had a very peculiar relationship. All the way, didn't she transition? All the way till she transitioned? Did she transition? I don't want to throw nothing on her. But I do recall that. But now, this is an epidemic. We was at a space where Karens were acting up. Okay? I mean, acting up. Calling authorities for no reason on melanated folks in the mix, and that was given national attention, and they wouldn't stop. Now, specifically this year, when things seem to be so bleak, And as we said in classes for the last couple of weeks, their world, their entire existence is shifting and their prestige is crumbling. So everything that we've learned, everything that we have been taught, right? Taught, and I don't mean educated, I mean taught. Because the purpose for white folk is not to teach us. Well, let me rephrase that. It's for them to teach us. And in teaching us, in teaching the majority of us in that space, it is very, very wrong and counterproductive to who we are. Education is always the process. So in them teaching us, their world, as we have been taught, is crumbling. As we can see, it's shifting. The economy is shifting. The morale, the general morale of the country is kaput. They're at odds with each other. They don't know what to do because they've lied so much. They've been stealing so much. They've been misrepresenting everything in existence up until this point. And it no longer makes sense. Now, in this crumbling, again, like any other narcissist, like any other conceited person, like any other deranged person, they're going to do things and make decisions that are going to have consequences on the way out. And this is what we're witnessing. Now, white women, Karens, have been in a very peculiar space ever since there has been an, what do you call, a noticing of the idea of a white man. Remember, we said the white man is a figment of his own imagination. I'm going to keep drilling that in your heads until you understand that. White man is a figment of his own imagination. It is a created context. It is a created thing. And he has forced basically the entire planet as we know it to believe in this existence. Do you understand? To believe in this imagination, even though they bleed just like we bleed. Maybe a little easier. They eat the way we eat, right? We communicate the same, but they put on their pants a little differently, yet they still put them on. So this omnipotent administrator of what humanity is supposed to be, he's been rocking unchallenged for a long time, so he's failing. Now, in that, the white woman never really had a footing, when it came to actual acknowledgement and an actual base of power. Never been a solid foundation for who she is. Yet she has witnessed and participated in some of the most heinous crimes with her man. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But in that, she has also been a victim. She's been victimized. And nobody ever really digs deep into the research or into the history of the white woman in that. They have did research and taken her out of that space, right? We have seen her on several different pedestals. We have watched her throughout history stand side by side, but we never dug deep into the psyche of who she is. Everybody else has been analyzed. Everybody, right? Science experiments, poking and prodding. But nobody never got into the psyche of the white woman in that specific position. How was she conditioned to just be? How was she conditioned to be in this element, in this phenomenon, in this made up space of white men? Oh, Cabrina Dukes, you got a 55. A whisper one. 55. Cabrina Dukes, you're sliding in class, disrupting. 55! Now let's move on. So we come to a very, very troubling space in the history of white women. They seem to not be able to keep their hands off of teenagers. Not teenagers within their own community, because we know that they've been doing that for quite some time. But we're talking about keeping their hands off these teens that are in their care. Okay? These women are teachers. The majority of them. And having their predatory ways on students. For these Karens, it's not enough to call police on black folk. It's not enough to be bothersome, to be in people's business, to stick their nose where it don't belong. No, it's not enough for these white women. These Karens are taking out their sexual desires and frustrations on the students under their care. One of these women is actually, was actually a social worker. Now, you may say, hold on. Ain't nothing new here, Bliz. They've been doing it. But just like we know the music industry, people been doing it. They've been gripagating all this time. The technology and the frequent, we have to say the most frequent arrests of numerous women in one space for the same thing? Nah. Something's going on here. Something is going on here. Because with all of the most how can I say it? I don't want to say vicious. Could be, but with all the vicious, predatory nature of the past couple of years with the Sandusky's, the Epsteins, the Weinsteins, the Combs, you know, the Simmons, the Davises, you know, all this stuff that's been going on. The white women have been under the radar. And they made an attempt to keep it quiet because it's been going on. At least once or twice a year, you would hear a white woman who just couldn't keep her hands off of the young flesh of one of her students. But when you having this shit pop off 3-4 times a week, numerous cases within a couple of months, come on. This is purposeful, and it had to be some type of communication that said, yo, it's okay for y'all to do it. Now, we know how her man got down, right? We know that for an absolute fact, that her man, the white man, was an absolute monster when it comes to scrapes, when it comes to specific sexual abuses, when it comes to Grippergate. We know that. We know how he gives it up. I mean, here in class, you all read by now sodomy and the pirate tradition. You know of the Rock Hudson document. You have seen and we have spoke about everything when it comes to the white man and his, behavior when it comes to, taking grippers from anyone. From anyone. White man take grippers from anybody. White man take your grippers, take Mark grippers, take our women grippers, take the kids grippers. And damn it, they take the dog grippers. Yeah. Absolutely. So we know for a fact that he is one not to be trusted at all. When you are around that man, fasten your belt straight up. Listen, I don't put it past none of them. You can see it in their eyes. That's all they think about. We know because we know their history. We know the history of buck breaking. Did we not? We learned that? Did we not learn that? Learned that many a times, right? Many a times. Salute. Washington, much appreciated for the green screen. Remember? What did we learn about that? Let's read about that. Okay? This form of sexual abuse was very popular in the Caribbean, and it involved white supremacists and slave owners, as well as merchants, raping a male in front of the public to embarrass him and make him feel less of a man. Buck breaking became very popular when slave rebellions had increased. Enslaved men were first stripped naked and flogged in front of a crowd, after which they were scraped by a white man to serve as a warning to other slaves. Okay? Right? On several occasions, enslaved men with families were forced to have sex with each other in front of their family or were scraped in front of their sons. Many enslaved men who had gone through the process of buck breaking killed themselves afterwards or run away and never returned. For white supremacists, buck breaking, either on ships or on plantations, was a way of utterly establishing control. You dig what I'm saying? Now, let's go a little further. Right? Because, yeah, it gets deep. Because we gotta make sure we know, right? Now, it starts to switch up somewhere along the line because, again, there was no space for these white women. There was no space for Karen. And in that non-power space, they had to create a lane for her. We always hear the fairy tales from Europe in the medieval times about the princesses and the queens, maid Marians, and these fathers who would put these women way up in the castle, and these women couldn't be touched because they were pure. You understand? But we do know, if we reading their biblical texts, especially their King James version, that, listen, they had ways to describe the act, the engagement of relations, of sexual relations between men and women, and even was very critical of certain spaces. You know, rainbows and stuff like that. So if they created this image, this person in their mind, this white supremacist, this white man, this image, they had to create a subsequent image for his woman, who definitely wasn't powerful at all. So what did they do? They put this idea in her head and other people's head, right? That she was prudent. Modesty and restraint were expected of a white woman. And in that space, you take away certain humanities from her, because you really objectifying her. And in it, since you want to buck break and run around and hit everything, I mean, shit, we just watched, what was that on Showtime? We just watched them. Shit, they was having relations with dinosaurs and all type of fire-breathing shit. Like, white man up here is sick. He knocked down anything. Anything. You see, they had Captain Kirk with a green woman. You hear me? Klingons and all type, they knock down anything. Okay? That's just what they do. But as far as the image of his woman, they had to create a different lane to save her to a certain degree. Frankie Fierce, salute. Pardon my lateness, Brother Bliz. It's my born physical degree day. Yes, made it to power wisdom. Yes. Salute. Much appreciated. Everybody. Man, everybody. What kind of emoji they got down there, man? Since he's from East New York, give him the red boxing gloves. Give him the red boxing gloves for his physical degree day. That's what's going on, Frankie. You get that. Yes, sir. We glad you made it to class. And let's highly honored that you made it to class. Shit, on your physical degree day. And you could have laid up. All right? But you're here with us. Okay? We appreciate that. So now, again, you got to create something in the minds of everyone else, right? They already created this space of spiritual belief or enlightenment on their part. right? This immaculate conception, even in the immaculate conception. Do you understand that? That even in the immaculate conception, this woman was not touched. So women know, we don't have to put any shade on it in class. Women know how frustrating, aggravating, shit, damn near insane it could be when that earth don't get watered, when it ain't no touching and no intimacy. Just like men, women will lose their damn mind. Remember, again, we have to go back to their recorded history. They're educating their sciences. Didn't they say where hysteria came from, where hysterectomy, where that root was from? Do you understand that? Have you heard of that? Where hysteria was a fit of mental imbalance? Do you understand what that is? It was a mental imbalance when they couldn't figure out what was wrong with women. Was she hysterical? And you know what the remedy was? Yeah. Either to put her away in a crazy house or get somebody to play with that box. Make sure that box got, because cause fits. It wasn't balanced. But that's another story. That's a whole nother story. We're trying to get to the space where we see or we're witnessing this prevalence, this, we can't even call it a phenomena, this new occurrence of these Karens preying in school of these students, which again for them has to do or has to deal with something up here, because they have these young people in their communities. They have them in their communities. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, cousin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yes, this is a Sober Friday build. Indeed. Indeed. So, what took place? I mean, they eventually gave them the right to vote. They allowed them to burn their bras. Feminism kicked off. You had all these things and all these spaces where Karen should have been secure enough within herself to not have this abhorrent psychosis or psychological fit to where you're preying on young boys. And not only just preying on them. I don't get it twisted. It's not a fetish where they are just preying on them, right? Where you have some of these wild dudes who just may be on some touchy-feely stuff or dying people and stuff like that. No, these women are forcing the complete act on these young men. In a few cases, young girls as well. But they keep that one really, really low. Because then questions would arise. But yeah, they have victimized a lot of these young girls in these schools as well. So now it's at the forefront because they cannot prevent. They can no longer prevent it from getting on the news because it's back to back to back, right? It's like how they keep our shootings front page, you dig? Right? Right? This type of thing that's been going on consistently. They'll put us up front. Black on black violence, shootings, skyrocketed. Top 5 cities where you can get shot. Number 1 killer of black males is black males. This has been the headlines for decades. But now we're in a space where, listen, every time you see a white woman on the news, come on now, she's victimizing somebody. And victimizing them to the degree of, you're going to do what I say. Now, I don't want to get too graphic and try to even imagine how it's being done, but it's being done. Okay? It is being done. And it's weird because, again, they put her in a certain space. They put her in the grand element, right? They told us things. They beat and lynched us for just looking, right? May not have even been looking in their direction or at them. Gotta keep head down, eyes though. They lynched them at tail. Do you understand? That was a regular occurrence. But again, it made headlines because of the specific time and date. But you can only imagine the atrocities, right? We know about the sex farms, again, the buck breaking, the listen, that's a whole different build. But let's get to her psychosis in that, because she's watching that. She's knowing that. Cameron knows that. Cameron knows Massa is out and about in the quarters, hitting everything, and not her. Knows that he's bringing in children in the home that are his from these melanated folks. Okay? This is something that she knows. How does she move past that? Nobody checks in on that. Nobody asks them that. How did it feel for all them years when they had been forced to be anorexic, no behinds, and stuff like that, to be what was the ideal object of beauty, a size 2, right? 5'9", 5'10", walking the runways. That was the ideal, and they all fit that mold, especially in the wealthier 1-2% of the capitalists. But yet, the husband, these men, are making sure they find their ways to the wards, to the projects, to the to get some of that thick, firm, melanated meat to get caught up in the whole houses, to get caught up on the tracks. Come on. This has been going on a long, long time. What is the psychology of a white woman in this space to where it bubbled over to Karens on video, knowing they're on video, and yet still performing in a manner that has been less than? Remember, let's just, again, they said that prudence, modesty, and restraint were expected of a white Southern woman. This is expected behavior. You're supposed to be refined. Karen, that's why we laugh at it. Like, we never saw them act in that manner. It's damn near comical until they started calling the police. But to have them outwardly rage out, woo, oh yeah. Okay, so now, modesty and restraint were expected of a white Southern woman. These were to make up for the believed inferiority in their intellectual capacity. Remember, they kept them white, bright, beautiful, nothing up here. And that was perpetuated in their literature, in Hollywood, in their theaters. This, the dumb blonde, the dizzy white woman. That's what was believed. That's what they forced us to believe. Chrissy Snow type. Do you understand? You understand what that? We would never understand what it is to be a white woman and her traumas and her mental imbalance, because they were always presented as someone you should listen to for no other reason than that's just a white woman, and that she had the ability to quickly engage the white man and his mercenaries to come and do what need to be done. There's no crying wolf with her. She vocalized, they're coming, they're activated. But that's all. That's all that we ever saw her as. That's all they ever saw her as. We never put her in a space of highly intelligent. We never put her in a space of strength and authority. She was always the whistleblower. She was always the one who can cause us bodily harm. She was the one that could get our kids taken away. That's it. So even in our presence, there was never a love for her. There was never a respect for her. So what does that do to her mind? What does that do to the mind of somebody who is not acknowledged, who is not respected, who lives in a space where you're on your own, figure it out? While we are dealing with our own way to struggle and to get somewhere, we still are who we are. We are still being, right? We are a being. We be, we move, we knowledge. Even those who are not conscious, even those who are not woke, are in a better space than somebody who doesn't even have a fight to build on. It's a terrible space to be a Karen. And eventually, you move in a different way, right? Because this is what they say. The idea that a white woman needed to be spatially and physically protected was why an enslaved black man could lose his life if found in an intimate relationship with her. As with human nature, the fear of death never quite stopped some from living dangerously. In this case, a white woman with not much to lose if found out would most likely initiate the affair. So you have the white women, they get in the space, and it's not enough for them to play with each other, to console each other. This white man who is trying to dominate everything in existence is not paying her no mind. She has to initiate herself. She has to step into the slave quarters. She has to step out into the world. She has to get herself to where she believes she needs to be in order to understand herself. Because she don't. She really don't. Right? Now, let's get into what's been happening. Right? Because again, somebody, quite a few, sent me the video. Sent it to me, said, yo, we need you to build on this because this is kind of crazy. Let's go through the last couple of weeks in review. Charlotte, North Carolina, right? Ohio, Missouri, Pennsylvania, California, Missouri again, Iowa, and Tennessee. In Tennessee as well. Charlotte, North Carolina, 26-year-old biology teacher, 5 times intimate relations with an 18-year-old student. With an 18-year-old student, 5 times. 26 years old. And people are asking, is that a crime? Yeah, because there's still a student-teacher relationship. Even though a young person turned 18. That's Charlotte. Okay? A social worker, 24-year-old, in Ohio, made vids of herself, made vids of herself on the phone, sent it to the young man, who was so young, he didn't mention his age. And when got caught and they started investigating, trying to get her in her own web, had her on the phone with the authorities and the mama. And the mama, she admitted to the mama. Yeah. Yeah. Me and him had relation. I did the do. So now it makes me think, this is a 24-year-old in Ohio, a 26-year-old in Charlotte. These are young women. Why are they not in their peer group? Where are the white men in their peer group? And they're not unattractive. I mean, they far from a sister. Let's be clear. But they're not bad. What is going on when a 24-year-old white woman must prey on a teenager, on a kid? A 26-year-old. What's going on up here? Let's continue though. In Missouri, they charged the teacher with an attempted scrape. She waits till her husband. She waits till her husband leaves the house to bring the 16-year-old student in and forcibly make him hit the grippers. In Pennsylvania, another teacher gets the 14-year-old boy, goes to his home, puts work in, takes him to her house, put work in again, and take him to her SUV and put work in. This is how this is what cameras is doing now. This is how they operate. A California teacher, same thing. Same thing. Creating videos with this young student, creating videos of herself, sending him videos, sending him pics. Okay? These are women now. 27-year-old in Missouri did the same thing. Engaging with students. Again, these are young women. This one is 27. 27. Okay? Now how about this one? Cassidy of Iowa. Sent pics and had sex with 3 boys, 13 and 14 years old. 13 and 14 years old, 3 boys. She's wilding out. And the Tennessee teacher, another one, with a former student. She's charged with rape. She's charged with stalking because she was doing it to the degree that when she bailed out and they had order protection, she goes back to Shorty, tell him she's with child. So they violated her, snatched her back in, and gave her another charge. She's married as well. And brought Shorty to the crib. This is prevalent. And I'm quite sure in the coming weeks, there's going to be a few more of these teachers, these Karens, these white women going after, like I said, going after these young students. And we have to say now that what's going on up here, we know for an absolute fact, and I don't know why people aren't getting it, but again, their world is crumbling. It's in shambles. There is no more lies to be told to keep them seated in front of the world in a space of leadership. Is not there. It's what kills me with any melanated person who believes in them, who's still chanting their bullshit, who's still speaking about investments and financial literacy and the pulpit and the voting booth and all these other weird contractions and institutions that have been created and maintained off of your back, off of your labor, off of our elders and ancestors' blood. This shit is crumbling. And it needs to be quite honest. But we have to see what's going on with these white women. Now, from personal experience, I mean, I've never been that close to them. Here, growing up, as a young man, as a child in East New York, as a preteen and a teenager and an adolescent, and even going to college, just wasn't around them like that to that degree until I went to the service. And when I went to the army and was stationed in Germany, that was really my first interaction with non-melanated women. And it was very weird. I don't look at them and see in a space where I'm attracted. Just not. Right? It just isn't. There's just nothing appealing. So it would have to be a space where you are forced, and really forced to view them in that way. Right? It's like, so being away from home and being in a totally different country, to seek the, companionship or shit, just to get that off, especially as a young person. Remember, I'm in the service, 18, 19, 20. You are, of course, sexually active. You know, you're at your peak. I'm boxing for the service. There's a lot going on over there. Still, you hesitant. You got to learn the language. It's different languages. It's a whole lot going on over there. So you seek to, at least for me, deal with some melanated person. I mean, whether they were Turkish, which was big over there at that time in Germany. They had a large Turkish community, other Arab communities, and made attempts because, again, now there's a language barrier. They don't want to speak German, though they know it. When they speaking in Arabic, or you had Italians, you had people from Belgium, you had just a lot of different nationalities and a lot of mixtures. And remember, we were over there since World War II, so you had a lot of black men who got out of the service and was living over there and having children with these Europeans. And you know, they were called war babies. That was the slang. It was, oh, that's a war baby. How do you know she's a war baby? Look at her. You know, her father's black or her mother's black, and the other party might be European. You know, so in that space, you do what you do. And the thing was that the more melanin you had, the darker you were, shit, the more they pressed, the more they desired, the more they were around you. For whatever reason, I'm telling you, I had a army buddy who was as light as Al B. Shaw, and he couldn't get no action. That shit threw me, because I'm like, damn. Shit, if we was home, he would be the man. Over here, they don't want no parts of him. And I'm like, what the hell is that about? So it was definitely a different and new experience. But as far as how they handled themselves, especially when it came to nudity and sex and stuff like that, they were very, very unguarded, very, 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 very loose. It was just a different space. And I could never get used to it, because I always thought there would be something behind it. Like, it wasn't genuine. And I'm a person that has to deal with people in a genuine space. And it just wasn't. I mean, the experiences over there was just crazy. Like you would meet them and you don't speak the language, they don't speak English, but yet they bringing you to that crib, like, hold up, like this is what it is, and blatantly asking, you give me baby, you'll give me baby? And you're like, give you baby? What the hell? What's your name? Let's start off with that. Like, what's your name? Then you're a baby? What the hell's going on? And the older soldiers who were there or and now civilians are living, they would laugh. They think it's funny because you got someone like me coming over like, oh, what the fuck is this? Like, very open, very open. Get this. It's a space where you getting that out of the way. This is what they do. So how could I put it? I put it like this: what we're going through now with this agenda in commercial rap and how they're depicting the women as far as Sukiana and Sexy Red and City Girls and all that shit is coming from them. They've been doing that since, man, as far as we know, 50s, 60s, 70s. I know I seen it in the 80s. That's how they was getting down in Europe. So now we would never think, well, I know I would never think that our women would be in that space like that. Definitely if it was going on behind closed doors, definitely not in public, and definitely not in a space for the entire world to see. That's why it's so shocking, because that's not in our women's nature to move like that, to present like that. You understand? But for them, I never experienced nothing like that in my, like that. The red light district over there, not in Amsterdam, but in Germany. Germany's red light district to me was a bit more on the expressive side than Amsterdam. That German shit was depravity. It was just debauchery. It was just it was out of here. So for them to move in that manner and perform like that, you can imagine that. We know what these old phases about. We know it. We heard it in their music. We watched their country western stars marry their cousins as children and stuff like that. But now we're talking about, these are young women, young professional women, young teachers. These are people who may have graduated college on a high degree, and they're preying on their kids, their young boys. Karen, y'all got to stop, Karen. Y'all got to get some help. Y'all need some help. Because it's very difficult to understand 27, 26, 24-year-olds. Women. These are women in their prime. Taking grippers in school. Do you know what it's like for a 14, 15, 16-year-old boy? How panicked they must be that the older woman is pulling them into an SUV in a car, and I can just imagine and making films with them and videos, and come on, these is Karens. Right? But Look at how the media focus in and runs with this narrative that all our women are in the spaces, of Jocelyn Hernandez and the City Girls and the Nikki, that this is becoming what they push out there as the standard image. But yet keep all this quiet. Let's not talk about how many white women who are teachers that are touching these young boys. Let's keep that, but they can't keep it on a hush no more because it's happening back to back to back to back to back. So somebody tag a Karen. Do we have any Karens in class? Do we have one? Somebody tag a Karen. I mean, tell me it's only 100 people in here tonight, which means it's going to be a lot of 55s tomorrow. But do we have any Karen? I don't believe I have one. No, I do. I'm not going for she's not in class tonight, but I know for a fact that I have a Karen. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. From New England. Yes, I do. I'm going to ask her. I think I'm going to inbox her and ask her, what the hell is going on? What the hell? What's in? Did a message go out in the old faith church? Because, again, we're not talking about Epstein and Weinstein. We're talking about white women. We're not talking about 40, 45-year-olds who may not be ideal for the white man. We're talking about 20-year-olds, 24, 25, 26, 27-year-olds. Now you show me, no, honestly, now you show me a 27-year-old melanated woman with a career that's going to be playing with a 14-year-old, 15-year-old teenage boy. What would we call her? We'd be like, yo, she is sick. When she is bugging. Right? She's bugging. You understand? So why these women ain't bugging? Salute Michael Hayes. Thank you for coming. Thank you for the appreciation. Stainless poverty, yeah, you know it. 55. And you ain't bring a Karen with you. 55 for that. But no, seriously, we have to think about it now. What is going on? If it was a melanated woman who was a teacher, okay? Who was a teacher preying on a 14, 15-year-old, what would we call her? What would happen? So I don't know what they got going on with these white women. I don't know. I don't know. Some of y'all got to help me here. Y'all have to really help me here. Do y'all know what's going on? For real. Because, again, we're not getting a full profile of these women. We're getting their job, right? We're getting their age. We're getting their marital status. And that's about it. And since these cases aren't making national news, they're staying local, we don't know what's happening after right? We knew about Mary Kate because that was initially the big one. That was the biggest one we had up until that point. So now these cases may shoot up under the radar and be gone without a psych exam. Listen, T, if they're not getting anything from their husband, it's no excuse because there's other men, able-bodied men, that'll get to them. It must be, listen, it must be a bad space when you can't even give away no cookie. That's something weird. Do you understand that? Like, what could a 15-year-old, 14, 13, 14, 15-year-old give to a woman that's 27, that's 28? Mm-mm. No. No. Mm-mm. We ain't using that excuse. No, 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 no. No, no, no. That's right, Vanessa. Many cases could be out there. Many cases, many more. But I know right now it's feeling like an epidemic. It's feeling like it's a trend. It's feeling like it's a trend. Come on now. Why are these old fake women preying on these teenagers? Post-gripper trauma disorder could be. It could be. You could never know. You know, before, if these old fags wasn't getting enough, they would go and join a swingers club. You know, they would, trickle their way into the porn industry. They would do different things to get that box situated right, get that box tended to. You understand? Come on now. They're using the schools. They're using the schools as a space for them to pick from. Pick. Can't go with that. Nah. You think they might be doing weird things to their own sons? Well, these here don't have sons old enough. The one, I believe it's the Tennessee. No, it's not the Tennessee. It's the teacher from Iowa. Had sons, but they were younger. You know? So none of them had sons. They wasn't of that age to have sons, like, you know. But then again, they dealing with 13 and 14-year-olds. This one chick, the Iowa chick, what's her name? Cassidy. Cassidy had 3 young boys. She was wearing them out. Like, again, these are grown women. I mean, and when you in that space, like cars, SUVs, sneaking into these young men's parents' home or sneaking them into your home, what's really going on? What's the conversation? This one in Tennessee is with child from this young person. Come on. Come on, what are we doing here? What are they doing? Why isn't this national news? Why is nobody checking the mentality of these old fake women? Why are they allowing them to do this? But then who are we as melanated folks to continue to trust them? That's the better question. Because so far, none of the people, none of these, how many of these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. None of these 8 women so far has got caught up with a little melanated boy, a little melanated teen. I guess them little melanated children ain't they not the ones. I guess because you get one of them little 14, 15-year-olds and he'll put your ass on the track. So they ain't been playing with that, but I'm sure you're not gonna say it that it's not happening. I'm sure it's happening somewhere because it's too prevalent right now. Cameras is wilding out. They losing their ever-loving mind. Yeah. Serious. She went from calling the authorities on black folks. Oh, you know what happened? They started getting sued for that. So they stopped that shit. Word was out. Started getting arrested and leave them black folks alone. You're causing too much drama. That's what happened with that. But now this? So you not Karen picking up the jack no more. Now you Karen the predator. Come on. When things like that go on for the time and the space that has been going on, I believe it's a call from the higher up somewhere. I believe, again, it's another attack on people. Yes, Vanessa, we spoke about Mary Kate. Yeah, we spoke about that. And I was asking, I believe she transitioned. I think she passed away. I'm not sure. I think she was sick. And that young man is raising that child on his own. If not, I think she had 2 from him. Yeah. These Karens is wilding. And y'all need to be mindful of that when y'all going to work. When you in the streets and all that. You looking like, uh-oh. There's a Karen. Let me keep my good eye on her and make sure she not trying to take nothing down in the store. Right? We got this one. Which one is that? Ricky Lynn in Missouri. She made her husband go to the store and bought the 16-year-old in her house. Took it to the house real quick and got him up out of there. Like, this is, come on. It don't make no sense. It doesn't. And in a space where, again, through the buck breaking and making the black man desired, like we spoke in class, he's desired and powerless. They put him on a cover of the sexiest man in the world, People magazine. Black men finally started getting that title. They made you desired and made you movie stars and playing with your grippers and running around with your shirt off and, wearing roses in your hair and all type of weird shit. They made you do all that so you could be desired but powerless. So now these women who probably would have found them a good, strong, black melanated man, he's not desired by them no more because, again, he probably don't have much. There's something going on with that because, come on, you mean tell me a teacher that's 26 years old in Charlotte has to deal with a student? And that one looked like she might have a little melanin in her. She don't look like an Ofe. That's the one in Charlotte, but all the rest of them, Peyton in Ohio, Ricky Lynn in Missouri, this Emily, another one in Missouri, Cassidy, Iowa. Like, come on. Y'all couldn't, I'm serious now. As many men as running around and paying and doing all type of weirdness. They online on social media, joining OnlyFans, subscribe. You mean to tell me that you couldn't give that cookie away to anybody? That you preying on kids in school? Nah, something else got to be going on with that. Something else got to be going on with that. Yeah, nah. Come on. We got to do some more research and looking in on that. Got to. Mandatory. And again, I'm telling you, I guarantee you by the end of this weekend, we're going to get information on another teacher that embedded a young student or two. Got to be more careful. Be careful about them cameras, y'all. I'm telling you. They going to do it. They going to do it. And they going to continue to go through it because they witnessed a lot of shit and said nothing and benefit. Yeah, they benefited a whole lot from it. Yeah. So it is what it is. Don't believe in me. Believe in my belief in you. Y'all could check it out for yourself. Yeah. Yeah, these old phases acting up. And they need to be checked. Because I don't know what this world would be like if these Karens keep running around taking box. No. Go get on my classroom assistants. Thank you for holding it down on this late night. Yeah, we got some work to do this weekend. We're going to get busy, too. We're going to get busy this weekend. Oh, yeah. We got a lot of stuff. A lot of classes coming up. But make sure y'all watch out for Karen. Karen is on the loose. She on the loose. So watch it. Make sure you tell your kids. I'm telling you, watch them. Always be aware. Salute. Make sure you come back to class with all 10 fingers and 10 toes. All right? Don't let Karen get your toes. I'm telling you. Black man, don't let Karen get your toes. Ooh, wee. All right? I'm telling you, this is how they giving it up. So get back here with all 10 fingers and 10 toes. Don't give Karen your toes. I'm telling you. And she's a man eater. I'm telling you. Oh, your roses? What roses? Karen's out here taking roses? What roses? What are you talking about, Hood Center? What roses? You know you ain't talking about grippers. I know you ain't talking about that, man. Listen, don't come up in here with that. Karen ain't getting none of our grippers. No, sir. And we gotta keep it that way. All right? Keep it that way. Watch your grippers. Peace.